Hey guys, this is Bill from TFL Chat Room doing the Apple volume profile analysis for Wednesday, July 27th, and actually this is going to be for Tuesday, July 26th as well. I did not do yesterday's, waiting for earnings, and earnings came out yesterday afternoon, and of course Apple rocked the house on earnings, and their stock showed it today. So we'll go through that a little bit and talk about volume, and talk about where it is and where it may be going trying to use volume profile analysis. So here's a weekly chart for Apple. Really, to me, the last big thing that happened here, we've been talking about this red candle on the weekly with this high volume. To me, that is bearish. Of course, this whole movement on the weekly since May of last year, 2015, has been bearish, and this just supports that. So we'll kind of see what happens. This is the candle for this week so far. After 3 days, a pretty big candle. Of course, it was earnings today, and volume is more already this week than it has been for the last 3, almost 4. Assumedly, with 2 more weeks, we'll get volume up even higher. So we'll probably have a pretty high volume week. And if things keep going this week the way they are, this candle could be significantly large. And that's important on high volume to me because of this high volume profile area here. If we can shoot past that on a weekly with a big candle on high volume, from a volume profile analysis perspective, that could change this whole leg, the tone of this leg, from mostly bearish to potentially bullish. Of course, before we say that, we have to pass this high here, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Let's move to the daily and look at the last 2 days. I'm going to pull this off so we don't see that anymore because it just gets in the way. We know earnings were today. So we see the big jump, yes, today. And yesterday, what happened was we had this nice pin bar, and on pretty decent volume for a daily. Pin bars that happen in line like this, actually I don't necessarily consider. You consider this one at the top of a leg. You might even look at this one and say this may be slowing down or going sideways, and it did for a couple of bars before it took off again. But this one, in line with this bearish move over the last couple of days, would just be that to me. It would just be a continuation of bearish. I wouldn't look at this really any other way. Again, I got in up here after this pin bar and got out after it hit the 38 fib, and I was glad I did, of course, because of what happened today with earnings. So moving out a little bit here on Apple, and of course earnings today, this big move up on very high buying volume. So I had a trend line here and it's gone, so I must have erased it for whatever reason. Let's put it back there and take a look at it right across the top here, and we are right there at that trend line. So it'll be very interesting to me what happens on this daily chart. Now, if you look at this daily, and I'm just going to try and look at this last big leg down, we've got some decent volume bar right here at this high. So not only would this leg have to break this trend line, it would have to get up here and bust through this high volume profile bar and this top. If it does that, that would definitely say to me this bearish move is coming to an end, and we may see some more highs with Apple, but we'll have to see what happens there. Let's take a peek inside of yesterday and today on a 15-minute. We see the big gap today, and really all it did was gap. We had mostly a move down, including the very last 15-minute bar of the day. Looking at yesterday, pretty flat. We had a movement up in the morning and then down mid-morning, and up and down the rest of the day. Again, this was the kind of the pin bar. We started up here, and actually we started here, went up, and ended here. But the day before earnings, we're not going to look at too many signals there anyway. So I was glad to be out of this trade again. And of course, we had our big gap up, and we've kind of been over this high volume profile bars in the middle. It just got completely gapped over. so it really doesn't do us any good. We could scroll out a little bit on this 15-minute, and this was that leg on the daily we've been looking at. Um, and look at the high volume profile bar, exactly where this left off before earnings. And we have very little volume up here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with these volume profile bars over here. As I've been reading and studying these, where you have low bars, price does not tend to congregate there very long. It usually goes right through that. You see this reversal here. It usually punches right through it or moves right through it. So as I study these bars more, I try to look at how price responds to those high volume profile bars. And you can see down here, didn't hang out there very long, a little movement and then up. And maybe the same thing's going to happen here, where Apple could fill this gap in and continue to go down as a move off this trend line. We'll see what happens tomorrow and how volume will respond accordingly. So let's go back just to the daily and recap. We are right at this trend line up here. And as we just pull this move down up on the screen, we see again the volume profile bar that it's going to have to get through. If you look at the daily, look at how low these low volume profile bars are. So what I would anticipate is that we don't stay at this price level long. It's not going to meander sideways here. I don't think anyway. I think what's going to happen is it may go up here and meander sideways, or it may go back down here and go more sideways down here. We'll see, but I don't think it'll take long one way or the other based on this area right here. Price not hanging out there too much. Price hung out down here, and that's why you have this high volume profile bar. Price pretty much did not hang out this area here. You see this bounce right there. It did hang out here. It hung out there a little bit. It's hung out here a little bit. And that's why these large volume profile bars are there. I like it again when we move away from these large volume profile bars on higher volume. Something similar to this, and then again to this, and then we get kind of more consolidation. But that's kind of the way the market moves in general. Again, I'm not looking for sideways motion here because of these low volume profile bars. I would be looking to go up here or to go down here. I'm not going to trade off this until I see some more days and some more volume. So I don't anticipate trading Apple again until we get in this area and I see some indication it's going to move away, or we get down to this area and I see some indication that it's going to move away. But we'll take a look at Apple again tomorrow, day 2 after earnings, and we'll see how it responds. That's it, guys. Have a good night.